Hey everybody, welcome back. I have Oana back with me to keep me on track because we have a complex module to go through today. We're going to be discussing in Scale Insights the Ads Insight tab. This, as opposed to the last couple of tabs, is very relevant to the work you're going to be doing. There is a lot of data that they have aggregated and put into different views, and you'll see what I'm talking about in about 4 seconds. So as always, let's start off with a screen share. All right, so as always, we start with the dashboard. When this flies out, you can see a tab called Ads Insights. This Ads Insights section, as opposed to a lot of these others, has a lot of tabs on the left. Some of these have tabs on the left, some of them don't. This one has a bunch of tabs on the left because you can dig much deeper than just a single screen will show. So we start out with Insights Overview. Doesn't really tell you much by itself. Like, this is just a very simple view of search terms with 0 sales. This is not going to tell you much compared to what the rest does. There is an informational screen here which describes what each of these tabs are. So you can see your performance, search terms, competing keywords, negative main words, dead keywords, negative main words, dead keywords, advertising trends, which are down here, search term trends. Linked ads with ASINs isn't technically a data report. It is just the screen in which you link your ads with certain ASINs. But let's go into the actual data that we can look into. So the first thing that we can look into is typically what's most important is performance. And they'll show you the performance in a lot of different views. So the top level view is performance by product or performance by ASIN. You can see here for any product with a certain time frame, you can set either years, dates, weeks, months, and custom ranges. You can select individual products if you want to pull them out from the full screen view. There are filters for main ways of looking at things. So here there are 2 filters built. You can create new filters also if you're doing them frequently. And you can see here there's 2 here, one for more than 80% ACoS and more than 250 spent. So these are big wasters of money. And of course, products with 0 sales and $250 spent. So in both of these cases, 250 spent with either high ACoS or no orders at all. This will show you the data. You can build out many of them. I recommend being very thoughtful about the names you give to these, because if not, you will have a hard time finding the filters you've built. So build out quite a few. It'll pivot things faster for you. Now, having said that, here we can also go up and down, and we can also build filters right here on the fly. So you don't have to build a preset filter for anything you want to see here. So say, for example, you want to see products with less than 100 impressions. So we should be able to say less than 100. There we go. Simple. Less than 100. We are in the column of impressions. If we apply this filter, well, nothing here is less than 100 impressions. So that is great. We'll clear this filter now. I'm sure that with a few more seconds of imagination, I can come up with something that would run filters. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's do something for filters over 100,000 impressions, because we have a few here, just to show you that it actually does work. More than or equal to 100,000. Apply the filter, and we are reduced to 4. There are 2 sections here because if you want to have things within a range, so say in the ACoS section, simply go to the ACoS section. As I go to the ACoS section, you'll be able to segment and subsegment. So if you want to look at things with a certain ACoS, but also within a certain impression range, just build out multiple of these filters. But if we go to ACoS and we want to set a top range and a bottom, so we want less than 70% ACoS, but more than 30% ACoS. I'm not sure the scenario where this would be useful, but let's see what we got. And we have exactly one product, 30 and 70. It has a 61% ACoS. If you'd had an impressions filter, it would have made it through our original impressions filter, but there are different times, and depending on what thing you're trying to accomplish, different filters will give you different results. You can stack your filters. You can see here the columns. I'll run you through them, even though you can do that yourself. We have, of course, the product itself. Here it's telling you whether the product is listed in sponsored brands, products, etc. You've got your impressions, clicks, orders, units, sales. As we've discussed before, units can be higher than orders in case people buy more than one piece on an order. Sales, conversion rates, spend, CPCs, CTRs. CTRs are click-through rates. So for however many people saw your ad divided by how many people clicked through your ad, that's your CTR. You've got your ACoS on the product, and you've got your ROAS, which is your ACoS flipped. Here, you can view the campaigns associated with the ASIN. There are other places to see this, but if you just want to open that up, this is a handy way to do that. But as you can see, it's going to open up this tab right here because this is the campaigns associated with products. All right, next, we have one for ad types. So this is going to give you steering data. What do I mean by steering data? For your whole account, how much you're spending on sponsored brands, how much you're spending on sponsored products, how much you're spending on sponsored display, and their overall metrics for the account. The usefulness here is to identify if one of these types is not spending anything or whether it's spending too much. There are general guidelines on how much you should be spending, which of course you'll adjust for your product. Typically, we recommend something like 85% for sponsored brands, 5 to 10% for sponsored products, and the last few percentage points for sponsored display. These will change based on your point and what you're trying to accomplish. So sponsored display and its retargeting options will be more of your spend in a situation where you have a lot of subscribe and save opportunities. Sponsored brands rather. This is odd because you shouldn't be spending more on sponsored brands than products, but you're not spending more, but you're getting more impressions. Anyways, still shouldn't be this close. But sponsored brands will be heavy in a situation where you're running a lot of videos, or heavy when you are working on brand awareness. Those are situations where the metrics might look different. You can't really take an action from here because, of course, any of these are made up by many campaigns. But when you look at this at the beginning of a month, you'll have an idea of where things are going. Next, portfolio view is simply that. You'll see all your portfolios here with the data associated with the products, with the campaigns in that portfolio. I always strongly recommend having a portfolio by parent ASIN. Child, if the children are very different from each other and have their own performance, but at a minimum, one per parent. All of the campaigns associated with that parent should be here so you can evaluate overall how a portfolio and by extension, how a product is doing. The reason I say this is because typically when a product is mature and when a whole set of campaigns are built out, you will have some campaigns which have very low ACoS and you will have campaigns that have very high ACoS. Often both of them can be okay because they're trying to achieve different purposes. So a campaign where you are trying to take sales from a strong competitor will have a very high ACoS. It's accepted and you're giving only a small piece of spend to it. But a campaign where you own your category and it's your top keyword should have a better ACoS and you're going to judge it differently. Overall, all your ads should contribute to a successful product. That'll be where you see your portfolio view. You can expand it out here. Let's see. You can see the campaigns in a portfolio if you expand it, and you can get more detailed data. We've opened these up in the past for other screens. It'll look similar here where it flies it out and pivots the data for you. But here, you've got the portfolio, of course. The start date and end date are not so useful because really you just care about how it's running, not when the portfolio was created. A budget cap is important because if you have spent out your budget cap, aware of it, your portfolio will stop delivering. Portfolios are a type of situation inside Amazon ads where all of the campaigns inside are subservient to the cap of the portfolio. So if you have a budget cap of $1,000, once you hit that budget cap of $1,000, nothing in the portfolio will deliver anymore. Even if your campaigns spend $1,000 a day and you want them to spend $1,000 a day, if that portfolio is capped at $1,000, on day 2 of the month, none of your ads are going to run. It has happened in the past that brands who have come to me and said, "Hey, why aren't my ads showing?" And it looks on all the other screens like they should show, but they aren't. We come over to the portfolio and we see the cap there. So if you see that your ads are not delivering and you're not exactly understanding where, this is going to be one of the places where you can diagnose it. I'm not sure what this is here for because budget cap cycles on Amazon start on the 1st of the month. So I'm not sure where this comes into it. If somebody really wants to know, send me a message and I'll find out the exact correct answer. For the purpose of this tutorial, I wouldn't worry about this too much. Impressions, of course, are impressions, clicks, orders, units, sales, conversion rates, spend, CPC, all the typical metrics that you can get for a campaign or for a product or for a keyword are available at the portfolio level, and it combines all the data to give you this. Campaigns, you'll be able to see all the campaigns. You'll be able to see the type of campaign. What's nice is you can filter for type of campaign. So you can see how many video ads you're running. You can also look for individual products and then see what the portfolio of campaigns look like. This is an important one. And it's a thing we often look at when I'm troubleshooting new accounts or when I'm auditing accounts. Okay. So for this product, this item we selected. So this is a list of the campaigns which are all associated with this product. And what you'll be able to do is see what's running. So here we can see that sponsored product manual campaigns running. Oh, there are 32 campaigns. Let's go to all 32. So this actually flies out nicely. You can see what campaigns are paused, what campaigns are running, which is also useful. I would actually run a filter just to see what's enabled, because that's going to be important. In some situations, you will want to see what's paused and maybe think, was there a reason why at the time? But if we look at what's enabled, we can see here, if I was looking at this account, I would say, hey, there's a big fat hole here. Big fat hole is there are no sponsored brand headline ads, there are no sponsored display ads, and this is a mature product. So you should have a full campaign set. Once you look at the SP manuals, you'll try to see what these are for. So this is a single keyword. This is a single keyword. I see broad phrase exact for ranking, another phrase exact broad. You'll be able to see here if these are all single keyword exact campaigns, this sort of might mean that you only have 5 keywords being targeted. And again, I haven't dug into the exact campaigns what you can do from these links, but this is not a fully built out portfolio of campaigns for this product, just with a one moment of checking. So you'll be able to look at products and diagnose what is missing from your campaign strategy. Here, campaign naming becomes super important. One thing I don't love is this is a single keyword campaign, and I don't know what the keyword is. So this should be right in the campaign name. There is an illustration. I see here these two. Oh, actually, these campaign names are not really intuitive. If these are all for the same product should be inside the ASIN of the campaign name. Single keyword is a keyword. This sort of tells me if they're all for that product, it might suggest that I'm targeting just this ASIN with the campaign, but that doesn't match it being a single keyword campaign. Anyway, this is a place where you'll see things. You'll also be able to see whether your bids are set for up and down only, fixed. We typically recommend down only unless performance is very, very good. I don't think that all of these are very, very good. Let's look at our ACoSs. No, I would not recommend up and down for a campaign with 34% ACoS. I certainly would not recommend up and down for a campaign with a 50% ACoS, unless your target is 75%, in which these are amazing. But no, we typically only recommend up and down in a case where it's far below your target. So that's not these cases. I probably would recommend running these down. At a campaign level, you can actually see the portfolios they're in. So if there's a straggly campaign, which should be in a portfolio and is not, you'll be able to see and move it in. So this is another place where you can get clarity. If there are campaigns associated with a product and they're not in the portfolio, your portfolio does not look correct anymore in terms of its data. So this is another place to spot check. And I would say do this periodically. Do it the first time you connect to Scale Insights, and then do it every 3 to 6 months. Just spot check your products and make sure that everything is associated with a portfolio and the correct portfolio. We've got ad groups is going to give you all of your ad groups. It's going to let you see everything in there. I typically don't love this because we don't do diagnosis of issues at the ad group level. We'll do things at the campaign level. We'll do these at the keyword level, but I will do them at the search term level. There's less action you can take at the group level. It's the place where you can't really take an action except go into the group. If there is a scenario where somebody can determine a useful way. I mean, it's important for completeness of data to have this view. In terms of usefulness, sort of on the border. But again, I am always open to learning more. I'm always open to learning more. And if somebody's got a great way to use this, I want to do better. Let me know. Next, of course, we've got product ads. Product ads are your actual products, which are in campaigns. They call them product ads, and you'll be able to see here which products are running ads. You can tell if there are products which are missing. You'll be able to see your performance essentially at the ad level as opposed to the product level. There is a little bit more data here. I'm not sure what can be opened up. You can see the data here. Now, the truth is products versus product ads is a similar view. I typically would stick to products themselves. So it's there. Next, of course, is keywords, the all-important data point, which is the terms you're advertising and how those terms are doing. You can see the full list. You'll be able to select them for individual products. You can see here current bids on an individual keyword, ad groups, match types, etc. This tells you a lot about where each individual keyword in your entire account is running. Filters will definitely be useful. This is a test account and it's got 250 keywords. Built out account with many products will have thousands, if not tens of thousands of keywords being advertised. It's good to have them all in one place. Filters will absolutely be your friend here. So this is, I don't know why it didn't work the way I expected it to, but you can run and should run filters here. There are additional filters you can run up here. Let's see. These are just for selections. And here we go. There are ACoS and metrics filters that we can run through as we did before. You'll be able to see things here as you open this out. If you don't have a lot of keywords, I recommend for your exact campaigns, making sure that the flyout is only for that keyword. So this is exact. I mentioned in a different place that sometimes Amazon is putting exact match keywords in places which are not the exact match. Here's the place where we'll validate it. So This is rattan placements. And as I discussed, I mean, this is a test account, but as I discussed, Amazon is putting this exact match rattan placements keyword in many places where it's not supposed to. So rattan placement is appropriate. Rattan placemats is appropriate because they are only the multiple and singular versions. Wicker is not supposed to be. It is not that term. This should be in broad match. It is not showing up here properly. Everything that is not rattan placemats or placemat should not be here. It's limited in terms of what you can do, and it's typically not going to be this wide ranging. There typically will not be 39 versions. We see it here and there, but know it, negating if necessary. This is one place I would check with the flyouts. Other places are going to be with things that have super high ACoSs. So if you have a broad match with a very high ACoS, look at the search terms it's triggering for, and you'll be able to see which search terms within the group are turning this into a very expensive thing. So let's just see here. So you can see here, the ACoSs for this product, for this keyword, range from 10% to 36%. And in a lot of cases, they'll run much higher. All right. So it goes as low as, by the way, you'll also be able to see what was triggered with no spend. So a 2-inch candy box, but if your product is not 2 inches, you're going to spend and you're not going to get any sales. Anyway, you'll be able to run through the filters here. When a campaign is running with a very high ACoS, this is going to be a great place to diagnose how this broad match campaign is running, or rather this broad match keyword is running. So that's your keywords. Next, of course, we have match types. This is similar to the ad types in which you can observe and you can steer a little bit, but it's not at an actionable level. So auto loose match, there are many campaigns which fit each of these. Sponsor product phrase, sponsor product exact. There's a lot of these. You can tell if something is running very hot or cold, or if you don't really want to run any ads in this space, but this is for steering purposes mostly. Placement data. This is useful for observations. We typically look at this for changing our modifiers, and you'll typically want to do it by campaign, not by portfolio. So for every one, you'll see top of search, rest of search, product pages. I'm not sure what unknown is. Amazon has added more placement types, so maybe that's what's triggering here. But for these three, you'll be able to compare the performance of the three types. This is not the place where you'll make changes to the placement modifiers, but you can see what the modifiers are here, which is 0 in all of these cases. So if one of these was doing much better, this has a 21% conversion rate as opposed to 12%. It is spending more. The click-through rate is 20x what the other one is. ACoS is half. You want to be spending more on top of search. This placement value should be much higher, and you should consider even lowering the bid in this space. But this is where you'll see the placement data. And last of all, of course, we've got annual change history. Basically, this is where you'll see all the changes you've done manually as opposed to any automations. Then you've got search terms. They can be for individual products, which are in your regular sponsored product campaigns. Headline search ads are going to be shown because they're at the campaign level, not at a product or keyword level. And then, of course, this is the raw dump of all of your search terms, again, with all of your metrics here. Best metrics they are the best metrics, and they have a definition of where the best metrics are in a couple of places. I think when you drop this down, somewhere there's a video of how they determine what best metrics are. Not so useful. This is a vanity metric. But if you have to find out what are your best metrics, this will be the place for it. Competing keywords can be useful. This will basically tell you the places where you have the exact same keyword with the exact same match for the exact same ASIN in multiple spots. You should not have any keyword match and product multiple times. You can have it, for example, rattan placement. You can have it for broad exact and phrase for this product. You can have it for exact for multiple products. There can be all sorts of combinations, but never ASIN, keyword, and match type running multiples. And here they'll tell you the spots where it's running. These are the 5 campaigns where this exact keyword is running with this exact product, etc. So you should be cleaning them out so they don't compete against each other. Negative keywords are all of the keywords which you have negated, nothing in this account, but you'll be able to see and spot check if there's a keyword maybe you negated by accident, or if there's keywords that you want to unnegate as an experiment. This is where you'll find your list. Main words is similar to best metrics. These are going to be basically the keywords which do the most. Well, actually, this is a little bit different. They call it main words, but it performs a little bit differently. Essentially, for any product, they're telling you all of the words that are in the product. And these are all of the individual words that the product indexes for. And they tell you whether it is in the title or not. So this can help you with fixing your campaign titles on the places that give you the most performance. So I guess that's why they call it main words. So boxes is a main word for this product. You will want to make sure that it is in the title, and indeed it is. This one here, let's see what this is. Okay, this is an ASIN, so yes, you're not going to be putting an ASIN in here. It should be false. Let's see, that is also false. Any other keywords which we see here that are false? 2x2. Well, if the product is 2x2, it should be in the title. If it's not, it's good that it's not. 2x2x2 is interesting because you might want to consider putting 2x2 as its own space, and you'll see that here. And it is something that generates traffic and clicks and sales. So you might want to call it a 2x2 box. As you look through this, you'll see things that match. You'll see things that don't match. You'll probably be even seeing some words that have very poor performance, which might spur you to take certain actions if it's leading a shopper to have a wrong impression of the word. If somebody thinks that they're buying candy, or if they think that there's candy inside the box and you can tell from these words, action can be taken. Advertising trends and search term trends. Basically, as before, you can set columns and days by columns to get a longer term trend of how things are running. They do run them at the all level, or you can filter down to products. Search terms are the same over time. I'm not sure why it's not populating with anything because there are no products here, but you typically see it at the search term level being able to populate. And the last thing you've got is link ads with ASINs, which, as you said here, if there is an ad that's supposed to be with an ASIN and it's not being automated, you'll be able to do that here. This is the place where the automations get linked. There you have it. This is a module, or this is a section which has a lot going on. This is a place where you can and should spend a lot of time because it'll give you a lot of data on a lot of data points. Explore, think about the ways that it can apply to your product. You can do that between now and the time you watch the next video. But that's it for this one. See you in a bit.